5.5 day turnaround from the end of like midnight on Sunday night until noon on Saturday night. So it's going to happen quick, obviously, and we're prepared for that. But you know, ready to get started. I tell you, the mood in the locker room after the game, a lot of disappointment, especially for you know, geared towards our fan base more than anything. I mean, just being able to play in that game was special. Our players, you know, embraced it. You know, our coaches embraced it. The fan base was great. You know, knew it meant a lot to them. We talked all week. You know, had a bunch of ex-players send some things and explain to them what it meant. You know, ex-coaches, ex-players, fan base knew it meant a lot. And it meant a lot to our players to be able to, you know, one, play in that game, but wanted to win it for them. You know, so there's disappointment that we let everybody down. With that said, it was a heck of a football game, and our you know, I told our guys, don't put your heads down. You know, we're a good football team. Virginia Tech's a good football team. Came down to the last play. They made the play. We didn't. You know, and that's unfortunate, but what are we going to do about it? We're not going to hang our heads. We're going to go back home and get started. Had a good day yesterday with meetings and you know, a lot of we had to get our lifting in and recovery and watch the video. And there's a lot of things that that we know we can improve on, and that's what our goal is this week is to try to identify as much improvement as we possibly can, and then get out there and work hard on it to improve, and that's what I expect our guys to be able to do. I got you know, another challenge this week with ECU. They're you know, it's a funny deal. You know, Coach Montgomery's been there for going on his second year. You know, they got guys, and they always have. I mean, my experience with ECU is back when Skip Holtz was there when I was at Houston. We had some wars, you know, back, I guess that was 8 and 9, which is about the same time that West Virginia was playing East Carolina, and had some wars with East Carolina. They've been known to, you know, to take out Power 5 schools left and right, as we well know. Happened in West Virginia back in, I believe it was 09. Is when it happened. About the same year, I think they took out Virginia Tech and North Carolina, and they've done it consistently throughout their program. You know, they're in some transition right now. I mean, everybody, you know, a couple years ago, my buddy Ruffin McNeil was there. Pretty much the same group that's running Oklahoma right now was running ECU for 3 or 4 years there. So, but anyway, they're in transition now. With Coach Montgomery coming over. He was at Pittsburgh. He was up at the Steelers for a year, and then had a couple of different stints at Duke. So it was a really good offensive mind. You know, and if you look at what they do offensively, I mean, they brought in a quarterback from Duke that took over for them there in the second half, and I think they kind of figured out what their identity is. So they started throwing the ball all over the place. I mean, almost 35 passing attempts in one half. People, I don't know if that's quite a bit. You know, so throwing that thing all over the place, but that's what their receivers are used to. That's what their O-line's used to. Had a hard time running the ball. When I know when Coach Riley was there, they, you know, had recruited a lot of good receivers. Always had. They had one of the top ones in the country a year ago. But they got 2 or 3 guys running around there that are pretty good, and that quarterback's big, kind of gets it to them as well. Defensively, got really good-looking guys running around everywhere. They lost quite a bit off of last year's team, so they're replacing some guys. They, you know, losing to James Madison, I discard that. I mean, James Madison could beat about anybody in the country right now. Won the national championship last year, haven't lost in a long time, so everybody says, you know, geez, you know, you got a team that lost to an FCS school. You know, they must not be very good or whatever it is. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, James Madison can play with anybody. They've won a whole bunch of games and extremely well coached. They got, just watching that video, James Madison's got a whole bunch of players, but and they're, you know, doing a good job. But ECU on defense, they look like they've always looked to me. They got a lot of D linemen. They're big. They're running around. The middle linebacker, the number 7, the Williams kid, made a ton of tackles. The Irvin kid out of Miami, the number 1 kid, the nickel Sam guy, I mean, he's running around making all kinds of plays. One of their captains is their free safety, number 8. So a lot of guys running around. They're trying to figure out who they are. You know, whether, you know, I'm trying to figure out what exactly they do on defense because they do a lot of different stuff. Kind of got them out of position, did a lot of blitzing, got them out of position, and James Madison kind of creased them for a couple of real long plays. Special teams wise, you know, they're good in the kicking game. They got a transfer punter in that's kind of interesting. He's averaging only almost 50 yards a punt. You know, your kid came in from Eastern Michigan, but he launches that thing now, so which is similar to what we saw last week. You know, and they've always had good return guys, so it's going to be a challenge. You know, excited about being at home. Gold Rush. You know, I would assume we're going to get a lot of people there. Should be a good day. Hopefully, it's not doing what it's doing out there right now. I think it's supposed to clear off and be good. So. You know, looking forward to the main thing. I can't wait to get back out there and play. That's the bottom line. So excited about that. All right, thanks for the question.
Besides practicing inside today, the schedule this week, your abbreviated schedule, you still have to give the kids a day off. How do you handle?
No, we don't because I mean, obviously we cleared all this through compliance and everything, but. We're taking like 12 days. We have like 2 days off, and then we got to go like 12 days, and then we got to go 2 days off. So that allowed us to come in yesterday, and we didn't practice them like I normally do at night because I wanted longer meetings. But I did want them to come in and feed them and lift them and condition them, and then sit them in a room and watch that video. To me, the most important thing after game 1 is to sit down and take your time and watch the video, which is what we did yesterday. Then we let them go. Coaches stood here all night and got caught up on East Carolina. Today's enrollment Tuesday.
Analysts pay dividends this week, especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this would have been hard to do without them. I mean, coaches sit there and claim that they stayed up all night and watched film all night. That gets kind of impossible. You know, if you don't sleep, you're going to fall out at some point. So, you know, when we came in on yesterday morning, there's a notebook about this big that had everything broken down. You know, and then yesterday we spent, watching our video from Sunday night, meetings with our players, and then taking that James Madison game and confirming a lot of things from what they did all last year. So it definitely helps.
The rules interesting. Do they travel with you, or they stay here and just concentrate on?
Yeah, I mean, you can have non-coaching staff members travel. I mean, that's.
I just wondered.
That's no different than Alex and Dorchester.
Whether you wanted them looking at East Carolina and just sitting here in the building doing those.
You know, you got your deal right here. There's technology that's a lot better than your thing right here.
Well,
I mean, the days where you had to splice the tape in the room and reel it, those days are long gone. They can take a computer. It's amazing. And it holds like 5 years worth of video. You plug it in and you watch.
That won't last. That's technology.
Yeah, they travel. I mean, there's a lot of times where they can coach coaches all they want to. They can't coach players. They can't talk to players. They can coach coaches all they want to. So, even throughout the course of the week, say for instance, Jake goes to Lincoln and says, give me a report on, what their first play of the second half is for the last 2 years. And then he can get on there and type all kinds of reports and stuff and then come to him and say, here. So you never know when you're going to have that kind of question. It can be, it could, and it probably did. It probably happened noon on Sunday before a 12:30 meeting. So they're around and they're, they got the manpower and they possess the knowledge because they've studied them more than anybody. But with me, I can't move ahead because I'm focusing on the game. Where they can move ahead and ahead and ahead and ahead because they don't relay that information to the players.
Do they make a formal presentation to the staff and say,
correct? Yeah, and that happened pretty much at different times yesterday. I would have those guys come in and give me a report on East Carolina when I had an hour here and an hour there.
In your opinion, did you play enough people last week against Virginia Tech, or do you have to force yourself to play more in these next few weeks?
We played 55. Traveled 80, played 55. I mean, in a tight game, 55 is quite a bit. So, we'll take that and say, this guy needs to play a little bit more, this guy needs to play a little bit less. Didn't like what I saw out of this guy, let's try that guy who had 0 snaps. There's probably another 15 guys that we probably could have played, but just didn't feel comfortable playing them in a tight game. You don't travel 70. We traveled 80 because it's a non-conference game. But in conference, you can only travel 70. Hopefully you don't get to the backup snapper, the backup kicker, the backup punter, the backup quarterbacks. A couple of red-shirted guys that you're trying to hang on to.
Dana, with all the breakdown, what were your primary takeaways from the film review?
Don't have time to talk about. I mean, there's a lot. A lot. I mean, there's some good things that happened everywhere. There's some bad things that happened everywhere, individually and scheme, and technique, and just all kinds of stuff. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things.
Was it stuff you didn't know, or for the most part, did you have a feel that, yeah, we're good at this, yeah, we're bad at that?
For the most part, I mean, I'd like to think I kind of know our team a little bit, who they are and what they're capable of doing. There really wasn't any surprises to me, honestly. I mean, we played a good team, and we knew they were good. We knew their specialists were good. We knew we probably wouldn't win the field position battle, but we just didn't want to lose the game in that phase, which we didn't. Knew it was going to be hard to run the ball against them. It was. Knew they had some skilled kids that could do some good stuff, and they did. I don't know. It kind of played out the way I thought it would. Evenly matched game with a great experience, a great atmosphere, and we had a chance to win there at the end and just didn't get it done.
Any update on Marcus Sims for this week?
Be ready to roll.
Is he okay?
He's going to be fine. He's day to day.
Was Kenny? Somebody said he looked like he was hurting out there.
Who's that?
Your punter.
He was cramping,
He was cramping.
which I can't explain. I mean, I get how Gary Jennings falls out because he ran over 10 miles. I get him falling out. They had number 22, who's a really, really good player, that safety. I get how he was in full body cramps. I can't explain how Billy Kenny is having full body cramps. But he did. And it affected his punting. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
You kind of expected a game like that from Jennings going into that game?
Yeah, I did.
What was the tip-off, or, what? Obviously you were featuring him.
just felt like I just felt like he's ready to take the next step. And through practice, I mean, a lot of that's not my decision. A lot of that's the quarterback sits back there and goes through reads and looks at where he's comfortable throwing the ball, and he throws the ball to a specific guy that he feels comfortable with. Now, you can say, and I've been saying this for 3 weeks, you know, we got 3 guys that I'm comfortable throwing to, that he's comfortable throwing to. And who do we throw the ball to? 3 guys. So why are we not throwing it to 8 to 10 like we have in the past? Because receivers 4 through 10 are not progressing the way I need them to progress. I don't know how else to put it. I've been saying it for a month. So, and how we practiced and the comfort level with the plays that we called with Jake, but also the comfortable level that Will has and Gary, we knew we were going there a lot. and we really felt like he was ready to take the next step to be a the lead guy, and he did.
How different are you? What difference does Sims make in your offense?
He helps. I mean, he's got that speed factor. You know, we played Reggie about 30 snaps. You know, got targeted I think twice. The more he plays, the more Will feel comfortable targeting him. He gives us a speed guy, and then Marcus gives us a speed guy that we desperately need at both those wideout positions. You know, we feel good with David. We feel good with Karan. Playing outside. You got to have the next guy in there that can stretch it, and those guys can do that.
In your first game, not calling plays in a long time, how was it for you? Was it hard on the sideline, or how did you interact with Jake?
Now, I didn't know what to do for the first quarter. I was, looking for people to talk to. This is a true story. It's funny. I'm literally talking to myself. Because, I mean, you go offense, and the worst thing that you can do is click over to offense and start talking. I mean, because there's communication that has to exist. And, I mean, I've told people to shut up numerous times. You know, shut up, I need this guy to talk. Nobody else. So I knew better than that. And I've never done that to Gibby. I'd flip over and listen, and change a possession stuff or decisions or timeouts or whatever it is. I hear it and I react to it, but I don't have the talk button on. So when I went to that third line, which is special teams, which those guys go back and forth a lot. You got to go offense and do things, you got to go defense and do things. So I'm sitting there talking to myself for the whole first quarter. It's just like, God, this sucks. So, so I went over and I yelled at Dorchester to I was like, go to the empty line so I have somebody to talk to. It was fine. You know, I didn't feel the urge to intervene whatsoever. I thought we had a really good handle on it.
What did you and Ryan talk about? Did you talk about recruiting North Carolina?
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Coach, in today's game is obviously, the design quarterback runs, and then there's obviously, some instinctual runs that quarterbacks will do. Obviously, Will on those last couple of drives had a lot of good instincts to get out of the pocket and run. What does that add? What does that do for what he's, capable of bringing to the offense?
Yeah, we need to get the ball in other people's hands more than his. The East Virginia Tech was hard to run the ball against, and we forced a bunch, and Justin ended up popping a couple. We thought we did pretty good. We wore them down and got some good yardage rushing wise against those guys. What do we have? 250, something like that, I'm guessing. Well, last year they averaged about 110, 115. So I thought we ran the ball pretty good against those guys. We don't want Will to carry the ball as much as he did. And if it's a couple of quarterback run plays and he gets a first down, great. But it's got to be wide open for him to do that. When the game's on the line, he needs to do anything and everything that he's got to do to get first down. And he did. And I knew that about him. He did that at Florida, but we're trying to we're trying to control that a little bit as much as we possibly can, but it does bring a different dynamic to it.
Having said that, are you happy to have that on tape so other people can see?
Yeah, they know they gotta account for them. Yeah, we've done that. You know, obviously with Skyler, we did it very little with Gino. Wouldn't even think about doing it with Clint. But with Skyler, we did it obviously quite a bit. You know, and that they gotta account for them, and they know they gotta account for them.
Any comment on the new emphasis on coaches' behavior from the officials? Not necessarily what
Yeah,
they-
and you know, I'd really like to sit here and talk about officials.
Well, you can't.
Actually, I can if I want to. I mean, it's based on who they are. They're not associated with our conference, but I mean, that to me was the biggest deal in the game. I mean, they declined like 4 penalties. I mean, we had how many?
The line.
Yeah, well, you can add about 5 more on that. And don't agree with a lot of what happened, but you know, I thought you had to argue. Evidently not. And here's what it is. I said this on the radio a little bit ago. You know, I mean, how many officials are there? 8? This was 8. Well, any of the 8 can throw the flag. And I wouldn't even argue in the call. But I stepped out of the box. I stepped out of the box and I did one of these deals. And three of them looked at me and didn't do anything, and one guy that was all the way down there came running in and threw it at me. I don't know what his problem was. Evidently I did something to piss him off. He can throw it if he wants.
Did you get any warning before that at any point in the game?
No. I didn't do anything. How do you get a warning if you don't do anything?
It did look on, like, a couple of plays earlier when you followed the official down the field. He turned and he looked like he was mad. I mean,
Well, we had, okay, so, I mean, they encourage communication. Coaches encourage communication. Officials encourage communication. So I was communicating on why I didn't think Kenny should be called for that personal foul. Because it's loud, there's 80,000 people there, and the guy steps out of bounds by this much, because I'm looking at it right here, and he continues to run down the sidelines. So what am I supposed to tell the safety? Just let him go score? So he hit him, and I didn't agree with that, so I just said, I was just like, look, what do you want me to tell him? He's like, you can't hit him out of bounds. I go, he's tiptoeing down the sidelines. What do you want me to tell him? Because you can't hit him out of bounds. I say, I know, I tell him that all the time. If they're out of bounds, don't hit them. So that was the communication that was going on.